Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Nation. Today, we're talking about one of the most unique pieces of anime all year, Star Wars Visions Anthology. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to help support us and see more great content like the Marvel Mondays Initiative, the Penultimate Conquest of Games podcast, and my show, Anime Nation.
That's this one.
Also, remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. It gives you a free trip subscription, so give us a sub. And if you missed out on any of this week's content, check our website, thepenultimateconquest.com, and check our VODs and even see if the schedule has been updated, which it hasn't. For those who don't know, my name is Ryan, host of Anime Nation, and I got some lovely guests today. Some regulars, but some great guys all the same. First off, we got my boy, RPG Master Richie. How's it going, Richie?
It's going pretty good. I just finished my watch along with Star Wars Vision, and it was thoughts I want to share.
All right. And then we got the man who's ready for it to already be tomorrow, so he can dive into Metroid. My boy John. How's it going, John?
It is going very well. I am awaiting the hour my pack Metroid Special Edition arrives on my doorstep. I'm also excited about today because the reason why I like Metroid is when I first saw the box of Metroid Prime, I was like, "This looks like that video game where you play as Boba Fett." Yeah, let's go. I don't know anything about this, but there's a robot with like a space helmet or whatever. Let's go. Then I found out she was a girl, and I'm like, "That's cool too. Let's shoot some lasers."
Sweet. Before we get into the big topic, we're going to jump into just a little bit of housekeeping. We don't have much. Other than we got to just say, I'm going to throw it off to Richie after he drinks that gulp of water. We got stats on stats this weekend. Richie, do you have anything you want to say on the stats on stats you're doing this Sunday?
Yes, this Sunday we are doing Stats on Stats episode. I want to say it's 12 now, with special guest Ryan DeBruin, the author of the Ether Collapse series, which is another apocalypse series. I promise we are almost done with the apocalypses because we've done a lot of apocalypse shows.
Well, alrighty. Let's get out of the apocalypse now and into some galaxy far, far away. Before we really dive into Star Wars Visions, I wanted to just go through everyone's relationship in semi-history with Star Wars, because I think that adds to how you view Visions. So, John, what's your view of Star Wars? Like, are you a big Star Wars guy? You big Star Wars fan?
I've gone in and out of Star Wars over the years. It was the first nerdy thing I ever got into because when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I would visit my grandparents who were living with one of my uncles, and he was a huge Star Wars nut that would collect all of the books, collect as many action figures and toys as he could afford to buy. And so, as a 7-year old walking into this guy's house and seeing like racks upon racks of like action figures of like Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and X-Wings and Millennium Falcons, I was like, this stuff is so cool. That was how I became a nerd and got into sci-fi and nerdy stuff. So Star Wars has a big place in my heart. But then Episode 1 happened, and I loved Episode 1. But then if I talked to anyone that was like any of my relatives about it, they were like, it's garbage, it's awful. And then that kind of made me stop enjoying Star Wars for a bit. And then if Force Awakens happened, and then The Last Jedi happened, which is fine, my favorite Star Wars movie, but a bunch of people disagree with me about it, and they can't just be normal people about it. They always got to pick a fight or something. So I kind of go up and down. This is one of my favorite Star Wars pieces of media ever made. I super enjoyed this as for so many reasons that we'll get into
Save
later.
those reasons.
Yep.
All right, Rich, what about you? What's your relationship with Star Wars? You a big fan?
I absolutely love Star Wars. Before I actually got on the Lit RPG kick, I was listening to a lot of the Star Wars Legends books at
Good
work.
books.
So, all fantastic books. The Darth Bane trilogy and the Revan book is probably my favorite. Shout out to Drew Caspin. I think that's the author. But I started watching Star Wars when I was probably about 5, so around 2000.
Okay.
And my uncle Eric, my mom's brother, I went over to his house one day while my mom and grandma and grandpa were out doing something. and my dad was at work. So I went over to his place, and he had Star Wars Episode 1 on VHS. He had just got it. So I watched it with him, and I loved every second of it. And I even screamed no when Qui-Gon Jinn got stabbed. You know, like every person should. And then for that Christmas, he got me the original trilogy box set on VHS, and I remember watching them religiously. But I watched Episode 1 probably the most, that or Empire, and I would always try to recreate the fights by myself because I was lonely.
No, all right.
But I love Star Wars. Also, John, when you were talking about Metroid and you're like, oh, Jango Fett, instant memories came back of having Star Wars Bounty Hunter on the PS2 and playing that game religiously.
Yep, same here.
So Star Wars is, for me, one of those things I have a very love-hate relationship with, where I've fallen in and out of love with it many times throughout my life. Such as it was one like John, I'm very similar, and I had a very close relationship with Star Wars as a child. I remember Episode 3 coming out and getting my dad took me and my best friend out of school to go see it. And
That's
I remember
awesome.
a teacher yelling at him. He's like, "Yeah, but it's Star Wars. It's the last one," because we all thought it was the last one.
Mhm.
And oh god, I loved Episode 3. That's probably my second favorite movie, because I'm also like John and think that The Last Jedi is the best ever Star Wars movie.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I respectfully disagree with you guys on that, but I respect your opinion.
And I respect yours, Rich. But and then I've had falling outs because I do enjoy that movie. I love that movie. I hate the new trilogy. I absolutely just thought it was god
Same here.
awful. Mostly for what they did with Finn. I wanted Finn to be the Jedi. I wanted Finn to be the main lead of that entire story.
I wanted them to both be Jedis and both go on like separate but like similar paths. Like not like they break apart, but like they're both like fighting for justice on like different sides of like she's fighting the Jedi and he's a Jedi like with the stormtroopers and in more in the battle, as opposed to just like him just kind of
not
popping
having a
up.
purpose.
Yeah,
John
Yeah.
Boyega got screwed.
He did.
absolutely.
But so be it. I've always had in that relationship, and then I've always gone into the thing of like, I've read all the expanded fucking media. I've read the comics, played the games, all that. I have just such a poor relationship with Star Wars. And this is going to jump into our next topic, first impressions. Well, I'll go off and say my first impressions of this. This was the most fun I've had watching a piece of Star Wars content since fucking Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated series first fucking aired on Cartoon Network fucking almost a decade ago now. If even, maybe a decade ago now, I'm not sure.
Now hold on. The Clone Wars as in the new Clone Wars or
New
like
Clone
the
Wars,
2D?
not the one done
Not
by
Genndy
Jenna
Tartakovsky?
Tartakovsky.
Okay.
Okay. Because
I
that
do
Clone
love
Wars,
those,
I
though.
love that. I love and I have both DVD sets of that.
Same.
And they're like an hour and a half, I think, a piece.
Yep.
Worth it. Got them for like $2 a piece.
Those aired just to give it a little anime tidbit. Those aired on Toonami.
Yep.
As
Did
little
they?
like yeah.
I thought they were on
made
Cartoon
for Toonami.
Network.
Cartoon Network aired. It was
Toonami
after,
is a
Block.
anime block within Cartoon
Channel
Network.
back home, it was Channel 53, and I remember watching like Teen Titans and like Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy, and they would be like the intervals. So that's where I was like, really?
Oh, that's they were first made as a thing for fucking Toonami. But
Such a
no,
good show.
I thought this was the most fun because it gave no fucks about canon. It
Mhm.
gave no fucks about anything. It just like, you know what's fun about Star Wars? Lightsabers and fucking the duality of the two sides of the Force and all the things I loved about Star Wars.
The over the topness.
The over the topness, just everything. And it combined, possibly it is because it combines one of my favorite mediums, which is anime, with an IP I love, which is Star Wars. But for me, I thought it made a perfect mix. What about you, Rich? What did you think of first impressions wise?
I was a little nervous about it. I didn't know how I was going to feel about like a different studio doing every episode.
And then
I was nervous, but when I watched it, I was like, this is fucking cool. And like some of the animation like threw me off a little bit and it took me a minute to get used to. But overall, I thought it was absolutely fucking beautiful because like you said, it took an IP that I love and mixed it with something else that I love. So I was having a good time with it. But the over the topness, I just want to point it out. There's no wind in space. So when can I talk about a moment real quick?
Sure.
Because this is over the topness and I want to point it out. The siblings, that episode where the sister's standing there and she's got like the wind going through her cape and shit, she's doing that herself. She's using the force to do that because there's no wind in space. Look at Leia when in The Last Jedi, when she flew out there like Mary Poppins. There was no wind going through her clothing. Dramatic. I love it. No, it was really good.
What about you, John? What you think?
What I loved about this is the duel is kind of what I was expecting. The first episode, what I was expecting from this. I've seen Animatrix. I've seen Batman Gotham Knight. There have been at this point maybe half a dozen of these. Let's do a anthology of animated side canon stuff based on a property with a bunch of different Japanese directors. And so most of them tend to be like, we're not going to get too wacky with it. We're going to show you the cool anime that like people who enjoy Batman won't get scared away from. And the duel, it's very good. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's also very safe. It's like,
this brings us into a great thing. We're going to slide in after we're done with your impressions of the duel into just going down the line. Because something I really liked about it was that the duel is a very safe intro.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's very foreign. I know a lot of people were scared.
I think you're getting to the point that I was going to make.
Yeah, John, you can make it then.
Because I was going to say, and then they go into Tatooine Rhapsody. I haven't said the word Tatooine in real life in a while. And that is like, you know what? We're doing a straight up Lucky Star K-On! Like this is about a bunch of Star Wars kids in Star Wars land making a band. They're not secretly gonna do a fighting, they're just making a band in the Star Wars universe, and what must that be like? And I respect the hell out of it because that's what I like about anime is that it can be the duel. It can be somber and serious and very quiet and pensive, but it can be like just a bunch of kids hanging out, being kids, and like having a good time. And I like that we got to see what that's like in the Star Wars universe. That's what I grew to love out of this collection.
And I agree very much with you. And so, before we move on from these two, Rich, do you have anything you want to say on the duel, just while we're going through these episodes?
The duel is actually the one that threw me off a little bit at first because the animation was so wonky. It gave me JoJo Bizarre Adventure like vibes.
Oh, not even vibes of that. It looks like the OPs for that.
Yeah, and like it hurt my head a little bit, and it took me a minute to get used to it because when I watch anime, you know me, I stick to my very safe like art style because I am weird and I like to be safe and comfortable in my little bubble. But the duel was really, really good. The animation for the fights really surprised me more than I thought it was going to. And Tatooine Rhapsody was absolutely bonkers, and I loved every second of it. But I did think they were going to have a fight at the very end when they were doing their song. I thought he was just going to grab his mic, turn it into the lightsaber, and start slaying out all of Jabba the Hutt's men. And then Boba Fett was going to have to get involved and murk all of them.
I loved Tatooine Rhapsody in that, first off, we see a Hutt just rocks a fucking rad mullet and wants to jam. Fantastic. All the band
don't forget the glasses.
Had such unique designs, and I loved it. Flame guitar,
the droid with the multi-drum set, perfect.
Yeah.
I was bummed out that the Hutt was voiced by Bobby Moynihan in English because my brain saw that design and was like, "That is Jack Black right there." So
was it Bobby Moynihan?
Yeah. There's
I love it.
This cast is stacked. The teenage guy in English was voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That makes sense.
Which brings me to a different point, which is I kept going in what was it in the dual Tatooine Rhapsody and the twins. I kept going back and forth between English and Japanese, and halfway through the twins, I clicked Japanese and I never went back. I I don't think anyone does a bad job. As someone who does watch a decent amount of anime dubs, I can tell the difference between someone that's like acting naturally and someone who's like kind of um breaking out of their comfort zone. And it just felt a little off to me watching this in English. And I normally watch anime in English, so it was kind of weird for me to feel necessary to switch to Japanese.
I'm kind of with you there.
I am somebody who only watches anime in Japanese if I'm able to, so I watched all of this in Japanese. And moving on with that, we're going on to the Twins, which is probably the one everyone was most excited for. It's the Studio Trigger, probably the biggest studio on here, name brand value wise.
It was mid tier for me.
And it's okay. It feels like something. This is how I explained it to me and my roommate were watching it. It feels like somebody at Studio Trigger already had their Promare X Star Wars fanfic ready for this, and they just needed to chop some things off to make it a new story. Like, don't get me wrong, it brings what I love about Trigger, which is the stupid high levels of hype. Like, when they had the first waifu of this, with the
Yep.
General Grievous waifu, which of course Trigger's gonna bring the waifu.
Kare.
Yeah. And then when her brother goes with
Oh wait, no, that's she's Am. The brother is Kare. Sorry, I misread the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, he was
When
still
the
husbando
brother-
Material.
True. I mean, he's just Leo.
He's just Leo from
he's just
Promare.
Leo
They were like,
Promare.
look, why change things up?
Why change things up? It's Leo
And
Promare.
they don't want
dressed
you to
like Han
tell,
Solo.
But Am is also just straight up blonde Satsuki. Like, you can't tell because she's not wearing a Kill la Kill uniform, but she's basically blonde Satsuki. Like, she does the pose with the lightsaber.
Does the pose, yeah, she does.
The show is it's more of a Kill la Kill, but with Leo instead of Ryuko.
Yeah. But when they use the Kyber crystal with the full massive lightsaber, and all the light beams are going everywhere in every color that we've ever seen a lightsaber in, that moment's
was
really
cool.
cool. Rest of it, it's kind of okay. John, what did you think of the Twins?
Like you said, this was the one I was the most excited about. Trigger is my favorite studio of all time. They just make really good stuff. I was slightly disappointed because it felt like the epic of like a Kill la Kill Gurren Lagann, and I'm just like waiting for the fight, waiting for the big fight at the end, and then the big fight happens, and the ideas are really good, but the animation isn't quite what I expect from Trigger. It's a little choppier than usual. They do tend to get choppy sometimes. The fight wasn't as exciting as I was hoping it would be, but there are some really cool shots. The way it ends is super cool. But
The way it ends is really good.
Because the fight between him and his sister overall isn't great, that means that the build up, the really long story build up to the end, kind of suffers for that, because they do seem to be rushing through the story to get to the big fight and like kind of building up the backstory for this big fight within at most 20 minutes. This wasn't one of the longer ones.
This was the longest one.
It was the longest one. Well,
Was it?
I think so.
No, it was only 17 minutes.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, I think the other one was longer. So yeah, I found it kind of disappointing, but I was glad to see lightsabers used in this way and to see this kind of art style in Star Wars. I was just, instead of being, I was hoping for a 9 and I got a 7.5.
So just while we're here, because I'm just to speed things along, keep things nice, tight, and consistent, I'm just gonna talk about who made the first couple ones while we're here.
Okay.
We have Kazumi Doga, who made The Duel. He is well known for Afro Samurai mostly. That's what got him on the map. And Batman Ninja, which
Okay, that's the vibes I was getting.
Yeah.
no.
The studio also does the openings for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not the show itself, but the opening animations, the CGI ones, are done by the studio as a whole.
Now, the next one's an interesting one because they are newer to the scene with Studio Colorido, which is mostly done for what I've seen from them is a Whisker Away and Burn the Witch. Which
I haven't seen either of those.
Burn the Witch was the first new manga by the guy who did Bleach, and it got animated into 2 movies, I believe.
Okay.
1 movie. I
Are they on
cannot remember off the
Funimation?
top of my head. They're on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. It's fun. It's very much bright colors, the very bright vibes that Tatinian Rhapsody had.
Mm.
Then we've already
I
gone
like
through
the art style, so.
Yeah, then we've already gone through Twins. We don't need to talk about Trigger. We've
Oh
talked
man,
about
but I love.
Trigger.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Then we're moving on to The Village Bride, which was a surprisingly good one.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first one to really slow down and just have that Jedi feeling of that, like, finding the peace and serenity in nature, finding how, like, that tribe knows what the Force is, but they don't call it the Force. I forget they
Mm-hmm.
had a MacGuffin name for it, but it's the Force.
Yeah, because in the story it appears the village like isn't aware of the Force, but the one girl, I can't remember her name. It might have been F. The Jedi
Yeah.
girl is clearly a Jedi and clearly aware of it, and
Mhm.
just choosing to withhold that information. Um, I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite. It was my favorite, and then we get further, and they keep getting better and better.
Yep.
But this is towards the upper tier for me. I really it felt like a Miyazaki movie. A lot of these feel very Miyazaki to me, where they have some intense fight sequences, but they also do a good job of like being calm.
Yes.
A lot of these give me the vibe of like Japan being like, you know, all this Jedi shit, this is our shit.
Yeah.
And
The
we
honor,
are happy to share it with you. And they're just like, it's really cool to see like Japan being like, Jedi have always been samurai, but with
Mhm.
lights, laser swords, and that is really cool. And I'm happy to
Especially
see
with
them do that.
Star Wars being very influenced by samurai movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see the full circle and all this, especially in a lot of these. We haven't even talked about that. Is the changes to like lightsabers and stuff to make them katana blades and stuff, which
Something that
is
kind of disappointed me as this series went on is that around episode 7, I'm like, really another guy where the lightsaber is a katana? Like, did everyone have to do that?
but I get why everyone did it. It was a cool idea.
Mhm. I only complained because some of the early ones, like someone pulls out a lightsaber and then turns into like an umbrella lightsaber
Yeah, that
thing.
one was fucking
That's the
cool.
duel.
So
Yeah.
I was expecting at some point to get like lightsaber nunchucks or something, but yeah, those were
I
good.
don't think you could hold those.
You could.
You could. You wouldn't be able to do the thing where you wrap them like this, but if you
Yeah.
extend like,
I'm
if you,
just thinking of what's his face from Soul Calibur.
yeah,
Alright, then
The
we're moving on to the ninth
I gotta share my
Jedi, which
thoughts.
sorry, Rich.
You skipped over me for the twins and this.
Ah, shit. Give me both of them.
No, the twins. It was mid tier for me.
I
It was
forgot
over
the
the
other side.
it was over the top. I thought the coolest part was when she threw like all of her lightsaber blades at Oz Kazume. Is that his name?
RA.
Alright.
Are. When she
Yeah.
threw all of her lightsabers at him, and he just kind of like held up his, and they all just like wrapped around. I thought that was visually really cool. The
It
Village
was.
Bride was actually my second favorite episode.
Okay.
And I honestly thought F at the beginning was a Sith. Like when I first saw her, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna be a Sith," and then she pulled out her lightsaber. I was like, "Nah, she's just a badass good girl." So,
Big
uh,
big Ryuko vibes from her.
Also, yeah, the mask thing she was wearing, super cool.
oh, it was so
Super
pretty,
cool.
and I
So many
liked how
cool
it was like
messages
hiding her
too.
scar, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Then just to give a quick thing on the studio who made this, and just for why I feel like it's so in touch with nature and everything, is this is this would be Kinema Citrus, and they are known for a few things, Rising of the Shield Hero, but what I'd really say put them on the map was Made in Abyss, which
Mhm.
this has
Okay.
Made in Abyss vibes.
I can
It
see
feels
that.
very
I've
much like Made in Abyss.
I've only watched the Rising of the Shield Hero,
But you can see that in
so
the animation. But so Made in
yeah.
Abyss, to keep it short, is very much about nature and like the beauty and monstrosity within it, which I feel
Okay.
like this captured really well.
I will definitely add that to the list. I might start watching that before I go to
It's
bed
good.
tonight
It's on
instead of Fate.
Amazon.
Okay.
All right, on to the Ninth Jedi, which was one of the other really high known ones. Production IG is working on this one, and um, a little underwhelming. I'm going to admit that, but just because I thought that the Village Bride was such a high level one, that this one was about as long, was given as much time, just didn't have the same punch to it. It was really cool to see the Sabersmith and how all that worked and everything, and rebuilding the Jedi basically after the downfall of the Sith. Like, how do you rebuild the Jedi and everything? And having everyone pick out a kyber crystal and all that, for just them to all eventually turn red, great moment.
That was really cool.
It was really cool. But and also the other thing I really liked about this one was the main character, Kyra's blade, slowly getting its color. And like starting out super faded to then it breaks into that bright color. Super cool, super fun.
Something else that I really enjoyed about this was that concept of the lightsaber reflects how you use the Force, and so when all the Jedi get it, all of them immediately turn red, and you're like, oh, they're all Sith. But then there's a great part where one of the characters who has had a red lightsaber throughout most of this fight, you see it turn purple, and I'm like, wait, it's purple now, and then he slashes one of the other Siths and like defeats them, and then it turns either blue or green. I can't remember, but it turns one of the good Jedi colors. And
It
then
stays
another.
purple.
Oh, it stays purple.
Yeah.
Okay. And
He's
then
he's fighting the guy with the blue lightsaber, and while he's fighting him, after all the Sith die, after the Master kills the last one, you see him like kick him, and like right as he kicks the guy with the blue lightsaber, it turns to that purple color, and that's when he's like, "Enough! This isn't you." And he's like, "I'm sorry." And it's just
Yeah, and I think that's really good visual storytelling because we know through Mace Windu and Star Wars that like the purple is like as close as a good Jedi can get to the dark side of the Force without stepping over. So I thought that was really good visual storytelling and
It's
using
walking a
lore.
very thin line that you have
Yeah.
to have total control, that you can use anger in a different way, which
Mhm.
is super cool and something that like they are taking from little pieces of Star Wars canon here or there, but still having fun with being able to have it in their world in these little pockets, and it's awesome. Of course, Production IG made this one.
what else have they done
Production IG, okay.
They
that I
are
would know?
they've been around since the 80s. They're like
Yeah.
the OG.
Okay.
Ghost in the Shell.
Cooley Cooley's
Okay.
new one.
All you had to say was Ghost in the Shell, and I would have.
Blood Plus. God, it just kind of just keeps going.
The
So-
anime sequences in Parappa the Rapper.
Psychopaths.
Damn, Psychopass is good.
A lot of like weird shit too, like the Halo anime.
Yeah,
Halo
The Fall of
Legends.
Reach.
I think when Western people are like, we want to make an anime thing, like the first person they call up are the Ghost in the Shell guys at Production IG.
And then they are also really good at being a backstage studio for you. So, like, if you, let's say, here's a good use of it is Gynax used them to do End of Evangelion
Yeah.
as a
Gotcha.
partner
Okay.
studio. And stuff like that. That's really what they're known for.
They also do
So-
a lot of
lot
anime
of
sequences in video games.
Probably
Okay.
best known for out of those, or at least the prettiest ones of those, is Persona 5's animation scenes.
All the 2D
Gotcha.
stuff in Persona 5 and
Yep.
Oreo.
All right.
One last thing on the Ninth Jedi that I want to talk about was her father, the lightsaber smith. The fact that he even makes a comment of, "Oh yeah, I was modifying them or modifying the kyber crystals so that way they reflected the wielder's like true intentions." that thing was really cool because usually with the lightsaber customization in Star Wars lore, they go to the hidden temple on the ice planet. I can't think of what it's called. But they go through like a whole trial to find their Kyber crystal,
Yeah.
and that's the one that reflects them. And usually, as a Jedi, it's either blue or green. There's really hardly ever whites or yellow /
Oranges.
gold or orange. And I was just like, damn, this is really cool. But the way her lightsaber started out at first, I thought it was going to be a dark blade.
Me too.
Oh,
I
that's
thought
I
it
was
was
like,
gonna be a
if-
dark saber.
I
I was
forget
like,
about
it's
that.
just going to be a black blade. It's going to come across at any moment, and then it turned green. And I was like, okay, I'm all for this.
No, I also I remember also thinking like, oh, that's gonna be a dark blade. Now we move on to Toby, Tobi,
I actually
which
skipped this one.
you shouldn't have.
I was
You
trying.
fucked up.
I'm gonna watch it tonight. We were kind of strapped for time, and I completely spaced it. I wanted to hit
This
the big ones.
one is one of the better ones, if
Okay.
not the best one.
What if I told you it's the second lowest rated on
That doesn't
IMDb?
surprise me because
Okay.
it starts off just like an Astro. It feels like Astro Boy or Mega Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just very cutesy and wholesome and fun. And it's about this old man scientist just building a little boy who then he's like, I could be a Jedi too. And then it gets real fucking dark real quick, where he is getting hunted by a Sith Lord who wants to kill him, and he loses an arm because he's a robot, and that Star Wars has robots to do.
Okay. If someone doesn't lose an arm in Star Wars, is it really Star Wars?
No, but he learns he is a he's a robot, but he learns
Yeah.
how to wield and use the Force, which is really cool.
Okay.
And the fight scene in it is one of the prettiest ones in the whole thing. The bounty hunter that's sent after him, the Sith Lord, looks super cool, way bigger than him. And this has that very classic anime feeling of like Astro Boy and stuff.
So what you're
John.
saying is Toby is General Grievous 2.0.
General Grievous is a cyborg son now.
Ah, damn.
Yep.
I
really
liked
liked TOB1/Toby. It's a really cutesy thing. I like the twist. It's emblematic of another reason why I love this series, because everyone kind of goes, I want to do this era of anime. Trigger does their own thing because they're their own era of anime, but this guy, this is Science Saru is the studio. They were like, I want to do a throwback to like the grandpappy of anime. I want to do an Astro Boy in Star Wars, and that's really cool. I think it's also cool because it's a robot that becomes a Jedi, and that's supposed to not happen because like machines aren't supposed to be tied into the Force. And it's just a very simple, heartwarming little story, and I really appreciated it.
Okay.
It really is just those things. And I think the reason why it has such that feeling and love for anime is the studio behind it, which is Science Saru, which got pretty well known over here in the West for Devilman Crybaby. That was really the big thing they did.
I didn't like that one.
You don't like Devilman? Yeah,
Devilman
you
Crybaby.
try and keep it safe.
It was. I remember watching it. I woke up one morning. My ex was watching it, and I rolled over just to see him watching a girl with her tits bouncing up and down, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's Devilman.
I was like, this is weird, and I tried watching it. I was like, yep, not a fan.
It's weird, but it's really good. It's as one of my favorite soundtracks in anime.
So you're telling me to go rewatch it?
I think you should rewatch it. Also,
God
the way they recap the episodes is by a guy doing Japanese rap, and it's pretty fun.
All right,
But
I'll give it a shot.
Devilman, which is a very old school anime getting remastered into a new type of format, and then the other show that last year got them mini awards, which was Keep Your Hands Off Ezini-kun, which was a look into the basically making of anime. It was in a really these three girls in high school starting an anime club and making it. And it's just super, super cute, super fun, but really is a love letter to the making of anime. So to see them be the ones to go to the old school throwback anime, it makes a lot of sense. Also, one of the other studios to get two. Them and Trigger, I believe, are the two.
Oh,
that
you're
got
right.
two.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm noticing the last one is also a Science Saru.
Now we're moving on to the next Studio Trigger one, and actually probably one of my favorites, which was The Elder. The Elder is first off, if we want to talk in time frame, after the death of Darth Bane, which cool, we're doing some real interesting things here now with time stuff. In that's an era that we haven't really explored except through
Guys, I'm looking at the chat right now, and apparently the stream's been muted this entire time.
Really.
Yep.
We are fucked.
Yep, I'm looking at the wavelength.
That's funny.
Fuck. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one this has happened to.
Does
Get
that
a
mean
hold
we
of
don't
Ruben.
have any recording of it?
Nope.
Awesome.
Are we just gonna have to reschedule this?
We're
We
gonna just
might.
have to reschedule this.
God.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because if you look at the stream right now and go look at the mixer, it even says Elgato Wave stream link. This has happened to me twice.
That's
So this time it wasn't me. This time it
Damn.
wasn't me.
That's amazing.
Shit. So now I can confess I haven't watched The Elder either. That's the other one I had to skip because I wanted to get to the Lop and.
Oh, The Elder's so good though.
The Elder slaps.
Okay, I'll watch those two tonight.
It's interesting because even though it's the other Trigger one, it's
I see Ruben's mouse moving around, so
it's a much more simple and pensive episode. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh wait, so we have sound on recording?
Okay, then we need
can-
to clip.
Can save this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just do some editing.
Cool. Nah. We just saw it in the chat and I was like, I was not paying attention to chat at all.
Yeah, if the audio is still recording, we can keep going.
Yeah, cool. All
Cool.
right, Elder. The Elder one is about just two Jedi and a Padawan. The Padawan wants to be more into the adventure part of being a Jedi, the big battles, the beating of the Sith, all that kind of thing. And of course, the teacher, the Jedi Master, is like, I don't know. You gotta enjoy the little parts where we are not in high level danger. So it's that kind of story, but with one of the most creepy villains I've ever seen out of Star Wars, which is this little ancient Sith Lord who just wants to kill people to see if he's still strong enough to kill people.
I'm looking at a screenshot of it right now, and I'm terrified.
Yeah, and he fights with two little
big Ninja Scroll
daggers.
vibes from this guy.
Yeah,
Oh my god! Am I gonna have nightmares watching this?
possibly. But
Because this is like straight up nightmare fuel.
he fights with two little like mini fucking lightsabers and like jab super quick.
I think they're like lightsaber kodachi, which is the word for like the mini, not they're sort of like
a short sword,
knife-sized katanas that samurai wear. Like they would use the large one for like proper sword fights, and then they'd use the mini ones for like assassinations or
He used those kanachi.
simple fights.
I'm looking at a scene of him holding it and standing off against the Padawan, and I'm just like, this is.
John, what did you think of the Elder?
This is the good trigger story in here. Everything that I had a problem with with the twins is like fixed here. It's very it's I say slow, but like it's a measured pace. Yeah. It's weird because I've never seen a show by Trigger this slow.
Yeah.
but it's just like it's very much exploring the relationship between the excited Padawan who thinks being a Jedi is so cool and wants to get in fights and wants to explore the world, and his master who is seasoned and experienced and is like, you need to value when you have peace in your life because a Jedi's life is all about maintaining peace in unpeaceful times. Um, but then it turns around with the fight against the Elder, the Sith guy, because this guy's like, my goal is that even though I'm so old, is to search for the next exciting fight and just keep going. And then it sort of becomes like this metaphor for how like aging, you can age gracefully or you can age ungracefully, and it's not like in terms of power, it's like how do you grow as a person? Do you grow into an awful person? Do you grow into a good person? That's more important than if you grow into a powerful person. I found that really cool. I was very satisfied by this, and it also not very trigger looking in a good way. It's very like mid 2000s kind of modern looking, and I appreciated that just for some visual differences
I
between
agree
shows.
with you. It was really cool. And now we go into Lop and Ocho.
I love this one.
Um, this one is just really fucking cool. There's few other ways to put it than
This one and the Ninth Jedi, if they announced that they were getting full shows, I'd be very into that. Like
yeah.
these feel
Yeah.
like you watch them and they feel like they're gonna end with Disney being like, tune in 2022 for the next episode or something.
Yeah. This one is about a rabbit-like alien who gets taken in by a wealthy clan leader, and his daughter Ocho, which they, of course, it shows them years later, the planet is getting occupied by the Empire, and one side of the family wants to join the Empire to save the family in their opinion, but the father and Lop are both like, let's not do that and fight against evil. And then you learn that the ancestral sword that's been passed down through generation is of course a lightsaber, because the one prompt they all had was it has to include lightsabers. That was the prompt these all were given.
And not just a lightsaber, but like a lightsaber katana.
Yep.
This one
Yeah.
I was cool with because it's not just a lightsaber katana, but like it has, even though it doesn't make any sense, it has kanji like
In the
written into
blade.
the lightsaber blade. And I was like, okay, that's
so
really cool.
anime, so cool. John, since you started bringing that up, give me your opinions on Lop and Ocho.
This is my favorite one. Something that really struck me is, unlike a lot of these episodes, for whatever reason, this is in I forget what the ratio is, but this is in cinematic ratio. It's not 16:9. It is a film, and it has a film grain. I could not tell if it was actually made on film or if it's digital and it just has a film grain effect. Either way, this made me feel like I was watching an anime movie made in like 1997 in a good way, like a proper like Miyazaki grade level anime film.
I agree with that.
And it's written that well. It's the fight scenes and the camera shots they do are incredible. I when I finished this, I felt like I watched an hour and a half long movie, and it was only like 15 minutes long. It's just probably the best paced story in this collection, and that doesn't make a story good or bad. It's just impressive that they like told the exact story they wanted to tell and left room to expand on it, and it felt completely satisfying. I want more Star Wars things with that bunny race in it. I want that to be canon. I don't care if it's not. It should be canon now. And just really good writing, really great animation all over the place here.
All right, perfect. Rich, what about you, buddy?
This was probably my third favorite out of the entire show or season. Because like I said, the Ninth Jedi, the Village Bride, and then this one. I saw the poster that I sent to the group chat before I watched it, so I was expecting when she got the lightsaber for it to be like a yellow, because on the poster that's what it looked like. I was like, oh, it's yellow, and then when it was green, I was like, oh, okay, I still like this. This is pretty cool. Visually, absolutely beautiful, and I do like the film grain that they did give it. It threw me off at first, but I was like, oh, this is weird, and then I was like, I really like this. So yeah, it was pretty damn cool if you ask me. I will say that I do wish it was a tad longer. So yeah, if they announce like a series for this one, I'd be 100% for it, or just give it like an hour and a half movie. I'd be fine.
And now, here's the most interesting thing about this one for me is the studio. Geno Studio. They are known for literally one thing, which is Golden Kamui,
I've not watched
which
that.
is an anime about plot of it is just people trying to find the treasure after being in slave trade, basically. But the note of the infamousy of it is it has the worst CGI I've ever seen in an anime with a CGI bear. Just look up Golden Kamui bear and you
Oh,
get
okay.
it, and it's cursed.
I'm
It
afraid
is a
to.
cursed image.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's episode 1. That's what they bring you in with.
Oh, that's funny.
What?
I
Yeah.
heard good things about the show overall, so it's
Yeah, I
very
What
hear
the-
funny that-
my roommates love it. I have not watched it because I got 3/5 into that fucking bear and was like, all right, time to find something else.
That's weird. I don't like that. Not a fan.
Yeah, they've done 2 other things, but both they're only like 1 season long. Something called Kokoku Moment by Moment, and a show earlier this year called Pets, which only ran for a month.
I have heard, yeah, the only one I've seen that got mainstream success was Golden Kamuy.
Yeah, that's
God,
gonna keep going.
God, that bear's cursed. All right, now on to the final one, which is Akikiri. If I remember this one, it was the princess, right? Now
Yep.
taken by the dark side.
Yep.
And this one had a really unique art style, very different. And this
It
is
hurt
the
my
other
eyes.
one made by Science Saru. And yeah, because it flows, the fight scenes especially flow like Devilman fight scenes. And that's where I noticed I'm like, oh, okay, this is the Devilman studio. Because I'm
Yep,
watching, I'm like,
I can see
this has the fluid fight scenes and the very unique character design. This is one of my favorite character
Mhm.
designs. The stiff design in this one, which
Mhm.
was someone of color, super buff, super powerful, super cool. We love to see that.
and woman, which
Yes.
when they were like, oh, you're gonna have to fight your sister or whatever, I'm like, ooh, another lady guy. She was not what I expected at all. She is a
No.
big buff lady that like she doesn't need a lightsaber to wreck your shit. I was
No,
like,
she was a
okay,
brick shithouse and will break you
Yeah.
in half.
I thought she was something out of a Ghibli film. That's what
and
I pictured.
She had
I was like,
sweet
Jesus.
character design. And that's something I
Mhm.
noticed about I wanted to say about this whole entire thing is all the character design, other than sadly Studio Trigger in their first one, Twins, was amazing. All the character designs in all of them were so unique and so cool. But John, what did you think about Akiriki?
I actually want to hear what Richie was about to say.
I was
'Cause
trying to say, Rich.
seemed to.
I was just gonna say this was my least favorite out of all of them because the visual, or like just the way the art style was, gave me a mild headache.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just I'm not used to that kind of art style. Like I said, I don't watch Devilman Crybaby, so I'm probably not used to it. But like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the lighting in my room or what, but like it just gave me a headache during that first fight scene.
That's interesting.
It is very asymmetrical. It is trying to like mimic how a more simplistic looking manga tends to look. It's got what I call One Piece syndrome, where people tend to think of anime as an art style, but then there's always stuff on the fringes like One Piece or Crayon Shin-chan that are like, no, fucking, this is animation. This looks like it was drawn by a 2-year-old. Not this show, but Crayon Shin-chan does.
Yeah.
I can understand that. It is a very uneven. It's unlike a lot of shows which are a lot of anime which tries to like have some perfect like line work going on. This one definitely wants you to understand that it's drawn. It doesn't want to look perfect. Um that's one of those, you either like it or you don't. I kind of dig it. I can respect that. Um I really enjoyed the story because it's about a guy that keeps having visions, and it's that classic thing where, like, by trying to avoid a predestined future, you end up making it happen, which is interesting. It is a very tragic. It is a downer of an episode to end this whole thing on, because
It
it
is.
is basically
It's bad.
Revenge of the Sith, like, but
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
good. Like, they're straight up like, no, by trying to protect the person he loves, he ends up betraying her.
Yep.
And that's a thing that can happen in real life sometimes, and it was a powerful story.
It was, and I thought they did fantastic with it. Again, Science Saru, they know how to do shit. They know how to do especially stuff like this. Overall, great. Now, for the last question I have is favorite episode. What was everyone's favorite episode? John, I'll start with you.
So I don't wanna have too many repeats here. So even though technically it's Loban Ocho, I really, really liked The Ninth Jedi. I want to see a story about Lakara. I want that to be a TV series. Like, when I finished that episode, I was like, I want to see more of this particular take on Star Wars. She is such a I just love like I love shonen protagonists like that are like upbeat, like they have a passion for what they do. They want to like protect things and make the world a better place. And then when someone goes, "Yeah, what if that but a girl?" I love that even more, cuz like I feel like we
Yeah.
don't get enough characters like that. Like, when you have to make a girl, she either has to be like hyper feminine or hyper badass, and this character is sort of in between, where she's not like super, like, she's still kind of cutesy going, but she's also like ready to fight and ready to do stuff. I liked the flip of the droid turning out to be the guy that they were looking to talk to, and that guy, even though he looks scary, he's actually a straight up Jedi.
Yeah.
There was just something so cool about 3 minutes ago. There's a line where someone's like, "Yeah, these kyber crystals will reflect the person's force when they hold the lightsaber," and then they're like, "All right, now you have all your lightsabers," and then they all immediately turn red, and then they're like, "Let's murder now." It's 100% my. Even though I like Loban Ocho, I want Richie to have a chance to talk more about that. Uh, Ninth Jedi is still a really, really good second favorite slash favorite.
I agree. Rich. how
The
about
Ninth
you on
Jedi is
that?
actually my favorite one, but I do like Loban Ocho a lot. But I'll actually take this moment to talk about the Village Bride, because the Village
Alright.
Bride, unless that's the one you were going to talk about, Ryan.
No.
Okay.
I have very different ones.
I felt very calm watching the Village Bride, like up until the very end with the showdown between the village and the Empire. I was like, this is calm, like this is relaxing, like I could just listen to the sounds of the world around them
Mhm.
and fall asleep. I loved every second of that, and visually it was beautiful. Audio driven, very, very gorgeous. Oh my god, like I felt like I was there. So yeah, that one was really cool. Didn't need a lot of action, but the action we got was fantastic. But my one comment, I'm gonna get hate for this. The main character of the Ninth Jedi is what I wish Rey would have been in the sequel trilogy.
No,
I get that.
I was thinking that while I was watching it.
I
Honestly,
understand that, and I agree.
I wanna add just a little bit to the Village
Okay.
Bride.
Yeah.
That's another show where I was like, I could watch a TV show of this.
Mhm.
Like, this is just straight up Samurai Jack, but Star Wars, and
Yep.
there's nothing. That's absolutely fine with me. I would watch a bunch of more episodes of them just going into a random town, hanging out in the town, and then maybe a fight happens or something.
So, My favorite one may not be the best one. I'll probably admit it's not the best one, but it's the one where I was finally watching through it and I was like, I can have fun with Star Wars. Wait, I don't just have to despise watching a Star Wars thing. Oh my god, I can have fun with a franchise for the first time in a long time. And that was Tatooine Rhapsody. I fucking loved it. It was just dumb anime fun.
Do you want to know
And
something, Ryan?
what?
Watching it, I was like, this is going to be Ryan's favorite. This is
Yeah,
definitely going to be Ryan's favorite. And it's so damn good.
it's just fun. And that's what I loved about it. To fucking Boba Fett bobbing his head to the music.
Chibi,
To
like Lucky Star ass
yeah,
Boba Fett.
yeah.
To see that design, to see Jabba the Hutt, to see what's his face? The noodle, the guy that looks kind of like a Twi'lek, Baba Vishnu or
Boba
something.
Freak.
Boba Freak. No. The Jabba's right hand man.
Yeah, isn't that something Frick?
Oh no, Boba Freak is from Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker.
I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Are you talking
Not
about Tentacly Head
Salacious
Boy?
Crumb.
Bib Fortuna.
Bib
The sea-
Fortuna.
Yeah.
Chibi, Lucky Star, Bib Fortuna, and Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt was just really funny.
It's so much fun.
It's such a like mid 2000s kind of modern anime that's just about like friends having fun, being friendship together. I really appreciated it because I'm always afraid that things are going to focus too hard on anime being like serious and dark and themes and really cool fight things, and then this is just like, let's play a song and be really happy and excited and like go.
I think the reason for me that's why I loved it so much was my favorite animes, they're not this. Don't get me wrong, I love super mega massive breakdown brawls. But my favorite animes are things like Haruhi, things like K-On! Those slice of life with just a little twist to it. And this was definitely had that kind of feeling, and that's why I loved it. The other one I'm going to give an honorable shout out to is going to be The Elder, because I wanted to see Studio Trigger do something amazing here. And when I got past Twins, I was like, I'm glad there's another chance for them, because I'm like, this is
Mhm.
Trigger, but I want to see them really do something different and fun. And The
Mhm.
Elder was that. The Elder had that old school samurai flair and feel, with also a classic Jedi tale of the Padawan not listening to the Jedi Master and getting in trouble for that. Also, great character design. Like you said, it did feel Ninja Scrolly, which when I want to watch a violent old school style anime, Ninja Scroll's up there. So for me, those were my two favorite. Rich, do you want to go on about what your favorite was?
My favorite was just definitely the
Okay.
Ninth Jedi. That one's
All
probably
right.
my top one out of the entire
All right.
series.
Cool. And with that, we go on to my favorite part, which going to be, before we get to it, any closing thoughts? Do we have anything else we want to say about Star Wars Visions?
I'd like a season 2. I would like another round of other
Now,
anime studios.
since this whole one plot was given their one tie point for each anthology piece was lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like the one plot of it to be? What would you like the one thread
Ooh.
carried throughout it?
Bounty hunters. I would
Bounty
like more
hunters.
bounty hunters.
All right. I
I was
totally
about
agree
to
with
say
that.
bounty hunters.
Or the fall of the Sith Empire back during the Old Republic.
All right.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't I would not love that, just because my favorite thing about this series has been when someone says, oh, now the Empire, Republic, they're all just different forces trying to get a buck. Like, you're like, oh, that means it takes place during this time period. That's one of my favorite guessing points of this. I like that, like, it's sort of a guessing game of when it takes place, or if it takes place eons before anything we've seen in the movies. But that's still cool. I think it'd be fun to be like, you gotta have Jar Jar Binks in it. Doesn't have to be big. Just
Just
show
gotta
him.
be there.
Show him. And then someone
Needs to
could be
save the
like,
trilogy.
he's in it the whole time, and then someone could be like, there's his head mounting out the wall. You don't need any more from him. Like that kind of a thing.
He's just frozen in carbonite, like in the
Alright.
mission of Force Unleashed.
Like if there's a bounty hunter and you can tell that he's like a weird, creepy dude because he has a Jar Jar Binks face on his wall, like an animal.
Alright.
Oh.
I think for me, what I would base it around next time is a blaster.
Okay.
Because when I think of Star Wars, the perfect counterpart to the lightsaber is the blaster. The Han shot first, all the kind of stuff with that is what I'd like to see. Is that kind of thing, and that could give me bounty hunter stories and the stories of like soldiers. I'd love to see one about a group of clone troopers in middle of Clone Wars, or Mandalorians during the fight of Mandalore. That kind of stuff, which I think would all be really cool. And with that, we get to now my favorite section, which is the Manga Corner, where I recommend a manga for you to be reading. And my one I'm recommending today is going to be Blue Period. It is a very different type of manga. It is a very slow. It's not the typical battle shonens I recommend or wild out there stories. It's about a kid going to art school and all the stuff that entails, and it's just a really full story that is getting an anime finally. It's won many awards for its manga. The anime comes out to Netflix tomorrow. It'll be weekly. Definitely go check it out. I don't want to spoil too much with the anime coming up, but all you need to know is about a kid going to art school, trying to follow his dream of being an artist and all that. So if you're an artist or if that's something you can relate with just creating, definitely give it a check out. And with that, we get to plugs. Rich, what you plugging for me today?
Got to plug Stats on Sets because that's my baby and I'm just so proud of it. So we have Stats on Stats bi-weekly on Sundays here at the Penultimate Conquest. Next episode is this coming Sunday. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at RichDolphus or at Stats on Stats Lit.
All right, John, what you plugging for me?
You can follow me on my Twitter at Noisy Shark. If I do anything, I will make a little twitty up there. But I probably won't be doing anything because Metroid Dread comes out tomorrow. So if you just want to see me say, Metroid, it's the best game ever, go buy it 1,000 times every single day, and reblogging like a bunch of Metroid Dread art and Kingdom Hearts art for Sora and Smash, you can go check out my Twitter. At some point, I'll
Hashtag
probably
Sword
make...
for Smash.
Motherfucker, I
I'm so
thought we could
excited.
get a whole episode without mentioning Sora this fucking week. Well, we tried.
On the anime podcast, you expect me not to talk about Sora, anime spiky boy fights for his friends?
We made it an hour, 2 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Sweet. All right. And I'll be plugging just my Twitter, which is Ryan the Lion 3055. And you can find out whatever I'm up to on the internet. And let you guys know, no animation has been on a bit of a break and everything, all that, but we're coming back strong. A lot of new episodes. We're going to be doing fall anime look into what's going to be the big shows, Tokyo Revengers, and a personal project by me, which will be about Evangelion, which we'll see at a later date.
Can't wait for that one.
Get hyped for those things. And again, thank you for watching. Good day, good night, bang.